I'm with the general manager and the F&I director of Westway Ford. He said, I just bought a car. I said, what'd you get? He said, I bought a Mitsubishi Eclipse. I said, man, they must pay you guys a lot of money. Work here. I mean, you bought a new Mitsubishi Eclipse? Yeah. My parents are wealthy. I'm a Cambodian from Cambodia. I'm a student here at the college, and I'm just working here part-time. He said, my parents have some money, Okay. Well, Tron, let me ask you another question. Who do you know that works here that needs a car? And Tron said to me, he said, Mr. Ziegler, Melinda Steele. And that really was her name, Melinda Steele. The night manager is looking for a car. I said, would you ask Miss Steele to come over to the table, please? Here comes Melinda Steele, and long story short, we delivered her the very next day because I asked the two questions. When are you going to buy your next car? He's out, he's not buying. I asked the second question, who do you know? And he brought somebody over. Now, a couple years back, I was working with Ford Motor Company, consulting dealers that were in their minority program. It was a deal I had with Ford where I was traveling around the country working with minority dealers. And lo and behold, they had a dealer in Jessup, Georgia. Jessup, Georgia, I'm talking about black dirt mule country, Georgia. I'm talking about the heartland of Georgia. And the dealer's name was Joe Larche. And they sent me down there to tune up the sales department, just a general consulting the dealership. So there was one of the officers of Ford Motor Company was there to observe me. His name is Mike Richards. So Mike Richards was one of the Ford, I don't know if he's a vice president yet. I know he retired as a vice president, but I know he was an officer of Ford at the time. So Mike Richards told the story recently at one of my seminars about the time he saw Jim Ziegler sell a car. And that is on YouTube. If you want to see a person with a third party testimonial about prospecting, go to YouTube and put in Mike Richards, Jim Ziegler. Those two search terms, and this video come up of Mike Richards describing how I prospected to sell a car. It was storming down rain in Jessup, Georgia. Black skies, windy, rainy, ugly weather. They sent me down there to consult the dealership. Everybody's spirits was low. So I go in the dealership, we got bad attitudes, poor spirits, and I did a motivational sales meeting, and I said, matter of fact, I'm going to sell a car right now. Did I mention it was pouring down rain? I'm going to sell a car right now. And you'll hear Mike Richards tell the story. I grabbed an umbrella, and I went out to the median. Now, that dealership was called Crossroads Ford because it was truly a crossroads. I mean, there was a red light and two highways intersect, two big roads. I go out and stand on the median with an umbrella at the crossroads. And Mike Richards watched me, and he'll tell the story, knock on the window of a truck that was parked at the red light. Excuse me, sir. I got in a conversation with him. And Richards is laughing. But then the light turned green, and the guy's still sitting there talking to me. And the light turned red again, and the guy's still sitting there talking to me. The light turned green again, and the guy does a U-turn and pulls into the dealership. Here I come. I grab a set of keys, took him on a demo drive, and we delivered him in a brand new Ford F-150. He had no idea he was going to buy a car that day. No idea. Now the point is, what did I do? I used the third question. The third question, the most powerful of the three. The first question, when are you going to buy your next car? The second question, who do you know? The third question, would you consider selling me the car you're driving? Now listen very carefully. First of all, you have to have your management's permission to use this technique. You have to have permission from a manager about what type of cars you would buy for cash. And I meet with the used car manager and I said, what kind of cars will we buy for cash? Well, since I was consulting that particular dealership, I was making most of the rules. So, but if you are not the decision maker, you need to be sure management approves of this technique. Will they buy a car for cash from a consumer? So I said to the guy, I said, sir, excuse me, my name is Jim Ziegler. I'm a public relations consultant for Ford Motor Company from Atlanta, Georgia. And I saw your truck and I just had to run out here with an umbrella and talk to you. We will pay top dollar for this truck. We'll pay stupid money. Would you consider selling me this truck? You want to buy my truck? Sir, we want to buy your truck. I will pay you incredible money. How much? Sir, I'm not the decision maker, but if you drive across the street, I'll have you a cash figure in this truck, more than you ever thought you could get. That's how I got the guy into the dealership. Now, what do amateur prospectors say? Would you consider trading this in? No! When you're trading it in, what are you doing? You're selling them something. I don't want to sell you anything. I just want to buy yours. How much is it worth? Let's go find out. You'll not be here but a minute or two. Would you consider selling me the car you're driving? If I've sold one, I've sold 1,000 cars through the years with that question to people I met in all sorts of situations. People I met in supermarket parking lots. I'm telling you, I have sold so many cars with that question. I've been walking across a supermarket parking lot. Sir, beautiful car. Would you consider selling it? Yes, sir. I'm a sales representative at Superior Nissan, and my manager, Mr. Ken Vargas, said we're looking for cars exactly like that. I'll pay you stupid money for it. We will pay more money for this vehicle if you'll sell it to us. You will buy my... Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, if you'll come by the dealership, we work by appointment, I won't waste your time. Now, you got to have that agreement with your manager. We won't waste your time. We'll have you a cash figure within 5 or 10 minutes. And it'll be more money than you ever thought you could get. Stupid money. Mr. Vargas pays crazy money for cars like this. I'm all excited. I'm like a little puppy about to pee. You ever seen when they start turning circles? Yeah, I'm excited about it. We got to have your car. Got to have it. It is absolutely essential that you purvey that excitement to the customer, that they pick up on it. Man, I want your car. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've done that. It's just incredible. When you go buy your next car, would you consider selling me the car you're driving? Would you consider selling me the car you're driving? Who do you know? Those 3 questions. Who do you know? When you go buy your next car, would you consider selling me this car? Never mention trade-in. Now, I mentioned Ken Vargas earlier. Ken's still in the business. I don't know where he is. He's in Jacksonville, Florida. Ken's a very special friend. He was my used car manager. And when I was with Superior Datsun, before it was even Nissan, Ken Vargas and I would go in the classifieds, and we'd call a couple customers and offer to buy their cars. Ken would say, I'd buy this one, I'd buy this one, I'd buy this one. And I'd call the people up, and out of the classifieds, I'd say, hello, Mr. Jenkins. My name's Jim Ziegler. I'm a sales representative at Superior Nissan, Datsun. And my manager, Mr. Ken Vargas, saw your car advertised in the paper. And he asked me to call you and ask, would you consider selling us that car? We'll pay ridiculous money for it. Well, I'm asking $9,800. Sir, I don't know about $9,800. All I know is we will not waste your time. You'll be here less than 10 minutes. I'll have you the highest cash figure anybody's ever going to offer you for that car. You know, it's amazing. I got a friend named Harry. Harry works in a dealership in North Carolina. 2 months ago, Harry was in a slump. He's one of the top sales professionals at this dealership. So Harry asked me, he said, Jim, what can I do? I'm in a slump. I'm not selling a lot of vehicles. It's the end of the month, and I'm not selling my normal amount of cars. I said, Harry, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get AutoTrader, AutoTrader.com, Craigslist, anybody, a place where consumers advertise to sell their cars. And I want you to look up trucks, people selling trucks. And I want you to call them and say, listen, I saw your car advertised, I saw your truck advertised, and my management would like to buy it for cash. We will pay ridiculous money. We'll pay stupid. Would you consider selling me that truck you're advertising on Craigslist? And of course, when they come in, we're going to give them a cash figure. But we're not trying to sell them anything. We're trying to buy theirs. Remember that attitude. Don't care if you buy anything from me. I want to buy yours. You've got to have that detached indifference. I don't want to sell you anything. I just want to buy yours. So they come in, Mr. Vargas gives them a cash figure. Mr. Ziegler, $7,800. I wanted $9,800. Well, sir, Mr. Vargas pays more money than anybody will pay. You realize you've had it advertised for a couple of days now, it hasn't sold. 98 might not be the figure. And by the way, that is the cash price. It might be higher if you were trading it in. My Home Alone face. It might be higher if you were trading it in. What an incredible, now, what if they say, well, how much higher would it be if we were trading it in? Well, what will we be trading it in on? Let's look at some things. That is a very smooth transition. It's not pushy, but it gets it done. Now, by the way, save the numbers. Call that guy back. If, say, he doesn't buy a car from us, I'm going to call him back a week from now. Hey, John, Jim Ziegler, Superior Nissan. Hey, look, you came in last week. You didn't like the figure. How you doing with that? You haven't sold it yet. Oh, golly. Well, yeah, that offer's still good. Mr. Vargas will pay $7,800 cash, or maybe allow a lot more if you were trading in on one of ours. You see, most people advertising their cars in the newspaper, newspapers. Those days that was the way. But Craigslist, wherever they're advertising their car, most people don't sell it. They never sell it. Most of those people advertising their cars in online classifieds end up going to a dealership, they give up, and they buy a car. So you keep in touch with these people. Don't just call them up, become their friend. Hey, John, you get the car sold? Anybody looking at it? Eventually they'll give up, and what car salesperson do they know? Me. So when are you going to buy your next car? Who do you know? Would you consider selling me the car you're driving?